What's up, family? We're going to have a conversation. Get this video a big thumbs up. Now, let's get into the video.
Well, I love the people of the UK. I mean, I've loved them. They show great support for me. When they were doing that ridiculous thing about a couple of months ago, the people of the UK showed such great support. I love the people of the UK. My mother was born, as you know, in Scotland.
Now, this isn't just another political story. It's at high stakes. It's a high stake drama involving personal grievances, international diplomacy, and the future of relations between the US and the UK. And jumping into the topic, it is a diplomatic rift involving former US President Donald Trump and UK Labour leader Keir Starmer. Trump, known for his insistence on loyalty, has excluded Starmer from a major upcoming diplomatic meeting. But why? What caused this fallout? And what does this mean for the future of the US UK relations? Let's unpack it step by step. So, Trump has made it clear over the years that loyalty is non negotiable in his political world. And it's not just about loyalty with his inner circle, but it extends to international leaders too. Betray him and there will be consequences, often public and loud. And Starmer's leadership of the UK Labour Party has increasingly put him at odds with Trump, particularly because of Labour's support for Trump's rivals in the latest US presidential election. Now, I want to show you guys in regards of Trump when he has shown and has basically been vocal about not having respect for Starmer and standing on business. Check this out.
From everything I see, has no respect for this person.
It can spot potholes quicker.
So there you have it. And however, um, Labor's open backing, or I should say Starmer's open backing of the Democratic Party and even campaigning for Kamala Harris was seen by Trump as direct betrayal. And this just wasn't a political move for Trump, it was personal. And the exclusion of Starmer from his inauguration is Trump's way of sending a message where you around and you find out, right? And moving on to this next clip, I want to talk about in regards of the relationship and between US and UK and the dynamics of it. Check it out.
Hey guys, is it a surprise to you that Donald Trump hasn't invited Keir Starmer to his inauguration in a few days' time? And the Labour Party come out and go, hey, it's perfectly normal for a foreign dignitary not to be invited. I'm not sure if it is. One of their top strategic partners, not that he doesn't even attend, he's not invited, hasn't got a ticket, haven't kept a seat for him.
So, UK political figures have downplayed the exclusion, calling it normal for opposition leaders not to be invited. But given a special relationship between the US and UK, is it really normal? Comment down below, family, especially when such a snub is made so public. The UK standing on the world stage is being called into question. Trump actions highlight his preference of leaders who show decisiveness, strength, and loyalty, right? And in his view, Starmer's leadership has failed on these counts. Labor's open opposition to Trump during the election has larger implications, impacting the UK's diplomatic standing. By excluding Starmer, Trump underscores the importance he places on loyalty, even at the cost of ideological alignment. And it's not just a personal snub, but it's a calculated move with potential long-term consequences for international trade and military alliances. And individuals have even expound on letting their thoughts and their perspective being vocalized in the UK within trust in the UK government in itself. And these are what individuals had to say.
About the special relationship between the UK and the US, where is that right now under the Starmer government, and where would you like it to be?
Well, obviously, I mean, a Labour government you're always going to have problems with, but we have a deeper relationship. Regardless of political party, there's always going to be a deep bond between the United Kingdom and the United States. But with a Farage as prime minister, we'll go next level. And that's what, look, I've known Nigel now.
Now, many in the UK find this situation embarrassing, but don't take my word for it. Check it out, okay, folks?
You trust this government we are where we are. You might say, in theory, that's a good idea. Can this Labour government do that? Because if they can't, surely the Trump presidency is a very bad thing for the UK, for the UK economy.
Well, I mean, you'd argue the same if we were still part of the European Union. And this may give Starmer, our Prime Minister, a slight dilemma. Does he do what's right for us, or does he do what Brussels tell him to do?
And check out this next clip.
And it is pretty embarrassing for Britain to have the special relationship that we have, and everybody knows we have it with the United States of America. But Donald Trump has seen fit not to invite Sir Keir Starmer, no doubt because of his views on Donald Trump. No doubt because of David Lammy's sayings on Donald Trump, maybe indeed because of Sadiq Khan's protestations about what a horrible man Donald Trump is. You know, you can't mess around in politics.
Now, Trump's decision also reflects his broader foreign policy approach. The leaders like Benjamin Netanyahu and Viktor Orban have maintained strong relationships with Trump by demonstrating loyalty. Nigel Farage, a prominent Brexit campaigner, is another example. Farage's consistent support for Trump has solidified their bond. When Trump was inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States, the absence of Keir Starmer, not just uninvited, but publicly excluded, will stand out. Critics argue that Labor's decision to campaign against Trump during the election was diplomatically short sighted. And Trump, known for his pro British stance, views this as betrayal, right? And if you don't believe me, this typically puts a massive stain in UK history, right? Check this out.
Next Monday, when Donald Trump is inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States of America, I consider it to be a massive stain on British history that our Prime Minister will not be there. Let's ask Tobias Elwood what he makes of it. Tobias, very good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
It's pretty awful, is it not, that, here we are, supposedly the friend of the United States, the special relationship that exists between the two countries. We don't have a seat at the table.
And why do I say Trump is known for his pro-British stance? Views as betrayal. His mother's Scottish heritage and his admiration for the Queen only deepened his connection to the UK. Yet under Starmer's leadership, the bond between the two countries seems strained. And this is where you put the best interest of the American people and his business over feelings. Even though Donald Trump has has been inherently connected to the roots of the UK and British, the British culture through his mother who gave birth to him. Obviously, it's still the matter of standing on where he is and what he represents and doing his job, right? And you can tell with Donald Trump, loyalty goes a long way because at the end of the day, there's no wavering, there's no pandering, right? But don't take my word for it. Check this out.
And I'm not sure if many of you are big travelers or not, but we've seen what happened when Europe opened their doors. Look at Paris, look at London. They're no longer recognizable. And I'm going to get myself into a lot of trouble with the folks in Paris and the folks in London.
Now, the special relationship has long been a cornerstone of global diplomacy, influencing military cooperation and intelligence sharing and trade. But with Starmer at the helm of the leader of the Labour Party, the future of this relationship is uncertain. Excluding Starmer from a critical diplomatic meeting signals the growing rift. Decisions on global security and trade agreements could now happen without the UK's input, weakening the country's influence, so to say. And domestically, Starmer faces criticism over his leadership. Issues like immigration and perceived prioritization of immigrant needs over Britain's citizens have led to the delusionment among voters. Doesn't this sound familiar with the Biden administration, the previous administration that just went out, and the U.S. and United States of them prioritizing the needs of illegal immigrants over the best interests of the American people, right? And it's mind blowing, but UK called himself not a big fan of tariffs. But if you're operating in a way of going against the very thing in which come with aligning with America values that you guys have always strongly aligned with, and y'all call yourself going against it, if y'all have a personal vendetta or whatever the case towards Trump, that's not the way to go. So at the end of the day, you don't want to cooperate, you'll get tariffs.
From imposing tariffs on the UK.
Well, I'm not going to speculate as to what he is going to do. It won't come as any surprise to you that I'm not a fan of tariffs. And therefore, we have to make sure that we avoid tariffs. We've got very good trade with the US, as we've got very good trade with other countries around the world. I want to improve on that, and as you will know, I had a meeting with President Trump in September in New York. I've had a number of phone calls. This?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, Labor's support for Trump rivals was seen as a diplomatic misstep, deepening the divide between Starmer and Trump. And the decision not only alienated Trump, but strained the UK's relationship with the US. And Trump's unconventional approach to diplomacy doesn't follow traditional playbooks, as we know. If Nigel Farage remains a key figure in the UK politics, he becomes Trump's primary link to Britain, sidelighting Starmer and other Labour leaders. This posed a challenge for Starmer's leadership in the Labour's Party's future. Rebuilding the UK-US relationship will require strategic shifts and a renewed focus on aligning with key allies, right? And if you don't believe me, since he's not a big fan of tariffs, you either get a line or you get a tariff. Now, we all know that at the end of the day, tariffs is used as a way for Trump basically to show his political power, but also as a strategically way of putting America's best interest first, as a strategic, basically, it's like a strategic political whipping, I like to call it, folks. You know what I'm saying? So, however, I do want to show you in regards of Trump saying, in regards of London and his input on it.
London, but you know what? That's the fact. They are no longer recognizable, and we can't let that happen to our country. We have incredible culture, tradition. Nothing wrong with their culture, their tradition. Can't let that happen.
And he also talked about, since the UK want to align with, the needs of immigrants over British citizens, Trump had another thing to say about deportation, right?
Send elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left in this country. And if they come back into our country, they will be told it is an automatic 10-year sentence in jail with no possibility of parole.
Now, I want to show you guys proof, because I'd rather show you guys the facts rather than just me spewing out, my, narratives. But the point I'm trying to make is, at the end of the day, Trump is pro-British. It's not like he's trying to give the UK and British and Britain and all that a whipping because they're not cooperating the way that he wants them to. But it's for the best interest of the countries and other countries and allies, because at the end of the day, we're better together than separate. But at the end of the day, there has to be some law, order, and leadership in regards to making decisive decisions, because it impacts the citizens, whether British citizens or Americans in America. But this is to show and prove evidently that Trump is pro-British. Check this out.
Instinctively very, very pro-British. Labour staffers to campaign for Kamala Harris was diplomatically a very stupid thing for a newly elected Labour government to do. But the thing to remember that's important, Trump is instinctively very, very pro-British. This is the most pro-British president we've had for decades. His mum was a Scot and he loved the Queen and all of those things.
Now, and I know there have been a lot of narratives with the liberals and, oh, Trump is seeking vengeance and want to go after his political opponents. It's not that. You can tell if he's pro-British and he's pro-American and he's for the people, at the end of the day, that signifies unity to me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But however, we all know Trump is outside of the establishment, whether that's for the labor leaders, aka Democrats over there in Britain, or the Democratic Party, aka liberals over here in America. At the end of the day, we all know Trump is not part of the establishment, but that's what makes him great. He is outside of the establishment, but he's exercising common sense policies. And this is my proof that UK know how Trump operates, because at the end of the day, it's not like they didn't have familiarity when Trump was in office his first 4 years back then.
Donald Trump doesn't care about formalities. He doesn't do the playbook that Whitehall in London will want. He won't go through number 10. If Farage is on the opposition benches, he'll become his link with the UK. And that's a huge problem for Keir Starmer and for David Lammy.
So the stakes are high, and how Starmer navigates the rift will determine Britain's global standing in the years ahead. Let me know what you guys think in the comment below. And if you guys got some video from this, give this video a big thumbs up. On that note, family, peace.